Hello, welcome back to the Fierce Kitten channel. So today I'm actually not going to do a tutorial. Surprise! I'm actually going to do a Q&A session. So a lot of you guys leave really awesome comments, but sometimes I get a lot of the same questions, like where I get my bag tags made. That's the #1 question, and it's on every video. Even if my bag tag isn't showing, you guys want to know where I get them. So I'm going to answer the top 10 questions I've been getting in comments, because it's a little easier to make a video like this than it is to run through the comments and copy and paste. It feels a little disingenuous to do that. But before we get started on going through those top 10 questions, I wanted to speak to you guys about Ana Luisa Jewelry. Ana Luisa Jewelry reached out to me regarding their jewelry, and I researched the company, I looked into their products, and I love them. They were very kind in sending me 2 pieces, so which of course I chose. I went to their website, I looked at all of the wonderful options that they have, and chose these 2 pieces. So the pieces are the earrings, which you see are moons with these little dangly, pretty dangly, iridescent kind of beads in them. And then also this lovely necklace, which is kind of like a starburst. And I love them, but here's why. They're not expensive. So that's like the biggest thing for me, was that they were not terribly expensive. Like the lowest price starts at $39. So it's not like this bougie thing where you're like, oh, $200 for a necklace. Okay, maybe next paycheck. The other thing is, they spoke to me because they had so many different designs and in different kinds of genres. The second I scroll down through the earrings, because I've got a thing for earrings, I have way too many earrings. I saw this. Like, I'm a massive Sailor Moon fan. Okay, yeah, let me get this, get it in focus. Da, 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 da. I've been a Sailor Moon fan since I was a kid. I own so many replicas of her wands. I have all of the dolls. I have a doll from 1994 from Japan, like all of the stuff. And oh yes, and the compact, which makes noises because reasons. Okay, well, we're going to close that because that's a little long and loud and has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. Anywho, oh gosh, it's still going. I'm sorry. Oh no, please stop. Okay, now that it's done, now that it's done, and continue talking. I'm so sorry about that. Anywho, so I really love Sailor Moon, and so obviously the earrings reminded me of her moon one, but the necklace actually reminded me of the silver Imperium crystal, as it had expanded when she uses her full power. So for me, these pieces have like a personal touch that I really love. The other thing is their carbon emissions are really low. They only produce what they need to produce. They don't mass produce any of the jewelry. They offer worldwide shipping, and they were kind enough to give our channel a discount. So if you look down in the description below, there is a 10% discount to analuisany.com, so that you can get these wonderful jewelry pieces for yourself. And if you want, I'll link to the exact ones below too. So check the comments, and I'll leave that there for you guys. So let's get into some question and answers. Okay, #1 question that I always get asked is, where do you get your bag tags? So for those of you who have been here for a while, you'll see like on my tutorials and such, when I show off my bags, that I have, please focus, Fierce Kitten Studio metal bag tags. And a lot of people really want to know where I get these. So I actually got them from Alibaba. I found a factory in China there that makes them for me. There's a few options that are out there, but the one that I use is Top One. It was highly recommended by So Whatever. You may know her as Lauren Mormino. And I've been ordering from there. I've got them in chrome. And I also, and see, they when they send them in individual bags, so that makes it easier. But they also come in rainbow, so that iridescent kind of finish, which is a little more expensive, but it's worth it. You know, the funny thing is, like, sometimes they come bent up like this. Let me see if I can show you. The prongs in the back come bent up. Basically what I was told with that, a friend of mine looked into it. They said that it's because of the coating. They have to hook it on wires and kind of dip it down. But they're durable enough that you can pull them out, the prongs out, and re-push them down. They're not going to snap. It's not like you're going to be doing this 500 times. So I don't really think it's a big deal. It was a little weird, but it's fine. Once you understand the process of it. But they carry them in. So I've got them. I don't know. I keep messing with my hands. I'm so nerve-wracked today for some reason. Can it please focus? Okay, there we go. There we go. So these are chrome and rainbow. They also carry bronze, antique bronze, gunmetal, and I think like rose gold. You just need to talk with them. I'll leave a link below for it. Now they also have done my zipper pulls. So I have Fierce zipper pulls as well. And you'll see I put Fierce, not like Fierce Kitten Studio on there, because if you were to put FKS on a license plate, what would you pronounce that as? Yeah. So I've been going with Fierce with like the programming typeface, which I actually like because I'm a programmer. So that's the hardware stuff. Now, what you need to do is make sure you ask for the backing plates. If you don't ask, he will not send them. So that was the one piece of advice I got. But they basically just chuck a bunch of these in there. And I mean, it's done in a factory. And like I ordered 100 rainbow, 100 chrome. And at my bag volume, that actually works out fine for me. If you're going to be doing shows and stuff and you think that your bag volume is going to be more than like 200 in, you know, span of like 3 months, go a little higher and plan for it. The first time you purchase, you're going to have to pay for a mold fee because they have to create a mold for the casting of the metal. And after that, you just reorder and you don't get charged that mold fee again. So there's that. Anywho, next question. The second question is, what is that foot on your machine and where can I buy it? So to be very clear, and you guys, I understand when you're getting a super duper close-up view of the sewing when I do tutorials, you probably don't realize this, but I actually have an industrial machine. This table right here is holding my Juki. It's a DU1181N. And as much as I like to preach that you don't have to have an industrial machine to sew handbags, I sew with some very heavy duty materials and I sew a lot. So having an industrial machine was kind of a must for me moving forward. But basically it's a compound walking foot machine. So the walking foot is actually built into that machine. If you want to get a walking foot for a domestic machine, most brands carry one that you can get. I can't say offhand like how much they are because it really just depends on your machine brand and the type of machine. Usually like a lower end domestic, you're probably gonna have to find something kind of generic that just is like a one size fit all. But if you go with a branded machine like my Janome M7 Continental, that actually came with its walking foot, and it came with two of them because it actually has like an industrial style mode that's more or less meant for sewing quilts like very fast and accurately. I'll get into that in a bit. But that's what that is. You can buy a walking foot, but this one's a compound that's built into the machine. All right, question number 3. What is Twitch? I get this a lot, and most of it is because early on in the basic videos when I started out with YouTube, I said a lot about my Twitch channel. I don't really talk about it so much nowadays because like most of you guys don't go to Twitch. You come here to consume the content at the pace that you want to. Twitch is basically a website that was originally built around the concept of like live streaming games, and commentary on games and esports. But there's also an artistic contingent, and there's just chatting, and there's cooking, and painting, sewing, and all kinds of different crafts and things. But it's more of like a collaborative style of an environment than recorded content like this, where you guys see me and I don't react to you unless I do one of these special kind of videos. When I'm live streaming on Twitch, there's a chat on the side. I'm reading and responding to people, and a handful of you guys have actually popped over there, which is really cool. I love to see that cross-pollination between YouTube and Twitch. So it's really nice to see that it's kind of like you guys are flowing back and forth. That's really neat. But it's nice. But if you do catch me on Twitch, I do game half of the time now, and then I sew. Usually sewing is Tuesdays and Thursdays now, as long as my shoulder's not killing me. My shoulder's killing me this week. But yeah, that's basically Twitch in a nutshell. You do need a separate account. It is separate from YouTube. But you don't have to make an account unless you want to chat. Where do I get my vinyl from? Okay, there's a couple places. The specialty vinyls like glitter vinyl and holographic vinyl I get from meekryworldllc.com. She sells them in rolls and in individual sheets, like letter size sheets. Very reasonable, extremely fast shipping. I cannot express to you it's like I'll order it and 2 days later it's at my doorstep. It's almost more reliable than Amazon Prime. But so I'll order like the specialty stuff from her. But if I want regular marine vinyl, just basic colors, like a basic blue, for example, I actually order that from marinevinylfabric.com. I know that sounds really silly, but that's actually it. They do sell samples, so if you want to get a sample of it, I have never had an issue with it. It's slightly thinner than the stuff you would get at like a big box store, like a Joann's, but it's really good stuff. Like that's what I used on the Gudetama wristlet, which I would show you, but it finally sold. How many cats do I have? 4. I have 4 cats. I have Luna, who is my house panther, Diana, who is my Russian blue. Accidental, we did not purchase her from a breeder. She was runt and dropped off, but she's purebred Russian blue somehow. Then we have Mina, which is short for Minako, and she is part Turkish van. She loves water. She trills. It's very bizarre. She'll sit in a sink and wait for you to turn on the water. Love this cat. Then we have Ahsoka. And she's just turned 1 today, actually. So you'll notice, like, the Sailor Moon obsession, goes as far as naming 3 cats after Sailor Moon. And the only reason that Ahsoka is named after Ahsoka Tano from Star Wars is because my husband refused to let me get a 4th cat unless I named it after something Star Wars. So there's that. So yes, I have a lot of cats, but I have a big house, lots of love to give, 2 adorable children who are helping very much so with the litter and the feeding. I adopted them from Austin Pets Alive, which is a wonderful nonprofit organization in Austin, Texas. And I love my babies. They all have their own little personalities, and they're great. How do you get wrinkles out of interfacing? This is a good question. I get it a lot, of course, because that's why I'm covering it in this video. Anywho, so the best way, so usually when those wrinkles show up is with materials like the fleece or the Deco Bond. You won't see it a whole lot with woven interfacing like SoFuse or SoFuse 2, Shape Flex 101. You won't see it with those as much, but what happens is it's the type of the material is so disparate from the kind of material you're fusing it to that it shrinks up around it. That's what's creating the wrinkling. And it took me the longest time to figure out that if you don't pre-wash your fabrics, which I usually don't, steam the crap out of it a lot before you fuse. So warm it up with your iron. I know I'm making an iron sound because I'm desperate not to get up and actually film me ironing today. But take the iron and steam the mess out of your fabric, and then hover and steam over the interfacing. Let it fully dry. Like, you don't actually want to touch to the interfacing, by the way, because the glue dots, they'll glue to whatever. Then place it down and then fuse it. And the other thing is, like, you need to make sure you fully fuse it. I actually use my steam press, so I have a steam fast, and I use that mostly because it applies even pressure to the fabric as I'm fusing the interfacing to it, so I don't miss any spots. A lot of times wrinkles are because of missed spots. So as long as you evenly fuse things and kind of steam it a bit before, just to shrink the fibers, you'll avoid that like micro style kind of wrinkling that you see a lot in bags. Because once you go to flip it right side out, if you had any spots that were missed, it's going to show. That's a lot where that wrinkling is going to be. And unfortunately, there's nothing you can do to fix it other than to steam it and maybe hand press it out a bit once you have a finished bag. I will say fleece is the absolute worst offender to this, which is why I suggest hovering over and steaming the fleece or Decobond or whatever it is you're going to be fusing before you actually fuse it. And then also do the same to your fabric. You don't have to worry about it so much with like do not need to worry about it with like waterproof canvas or vinyl. No, neither of those are going to like wrinkle. It's mostly for quilting cotton weights that you guys may want to use. Do you think you will do, a video on copyright for bag styles? No. Big thing. I'm not a lawyer, so I do not want to offer legal advice. You need to talk to a lawyer. But I will talk about ethics and what would be the ethical thing to not do. Do not take someone's pattern and copy the instructions, trace their pattern pieces, and then write your own pattern and pitch it as your own. Don't do that. But the way I approach bag styles is there's a core set of styles for bags, like types of bags. You've got your totes and your backpacks, your mini backpacks, wallets and satchels and bowler bags, etc., etc. There's so many different styles of bags, but there's only so many ways to make them unique and to make them yours. And the uniqueness comes down to your patterning and your instruction. Take YouTube, for example. Several of my friends, I mean, like, I've got like 6 or 7 people that I'm close friends with, and we all have partnered YouTube channels, and we all have the same, like, getting into sewing beginner type of videos. We're not copying each other, and we're not stealing content from each other, but what we are doing is giving our individual perspectives on how to get started in sewing. And I like to look at bag patterns the same way. If I make a tote bag pattern and Rogue Stitches / Lady Crafts makes a tote bag pattern, we didn't copy each other. We just, I have my way of making it and she has her way of making it. And we've seen this because she and I collaborate a lot on like, well, how could I do this one thing? Like we noodle around and rubber duck off of each other quite a bit in terms of ideas for how to get things done. So there's that like collaborative effort. But when you see someone actually like stealing, like taking a pattern, like that's a big no-no. That's when you're getting into copyright realm. And again, like I'm not gonna act like I'm a lawyer and give legal advice. I'm just a computer programmer. Can you tell me what my prices should be? when my business videos came out talking about pricing and how to start a bag business or just any crafting business from home, I got this a lot. No, I can't tell you. I mean, I can tell you what I charge, but what I charge might not be what you would charge. I live in a different part of the country than you. I live in a different country than you. I have different suppliers and I pay different prices because I buy all of my hardware at wholesale prices, so I can lower my prices in some cases. I also have bougie bag tags, as I talked about in the very beginning. So the way that I price is very different from what other people may want to price. So again, I encourage you that if you're asking that question, go back and watch that pricing video and watch it. Don't skip through it. and kind of listen to what I'm saying in it, because it'll guide you toward making your own pricing. Would you consider the Janome M7 Continental to be an HD machine? No, it is a good machine. It is a very well built machine. It is mostly metal parts, very little plastic except for like the decorative bells and whistles that are on the facing. And it does have an HD mode, which I understand more now that I've had the machine for 2 years than I did when I first made the video about it. And I really should do tutorials. You guys are right. I should do more tutorials specifically on that machine, not just like as like using that machine, but like topics about the machine and its features. It does have an HD mode. The HD mode is actually meant to move the needle to left to a quarter inch away from the center. So any machine that can do zigzag is going to have a needle shaft that can move left and right. And putting it in the leftmost position is actually most efficient for quilting and high-powered stitching. So the HD mode is actually meant for accurate quilting. So like that quarter-inch quilting, it's very important. And there's a special foot for it and special plates for it to ensure that your machine is running at the correct speeds and the needle goes in the right way, etc. All this technical stuff I know nothing about. So can you sew bags on it? Yeah, you totally can, but you're not going to be able to sew the same kinds of bags that I'm sewing unless you get an industrial. But again, I'm not about that gatekeeping life. So it's just understand that if you go to that machine and you're going to use vinyls and things, you are going to run into problems eventually because you can't use Tech 70 thread. So the bigger the bag, the more stuff people are going to put into it, the more likely it is that your threads are going to snap. The more interfacings and more structured the bag's going to be, and the heavier duty the materials are going to be, the harder it's going to be once you get to like the final stages where you have to top stitch, attach strap connectors. Just bear that in mind. You know, you're kind of limited on what you can do with that machine, but it's not a bad machine. I just don't want to pitch it as like something that can go through 12 layers of vinyl. How do you light your sewing room? Which is a really good question, because when I do these videos, you guys are probably like, man, do you sew in the dark? No, I don't. So this video is like this because I don't need to use the other stations in my room. So I actually use a lot of Elgato products, which you could see if you watch my stream setup video. It's an older one. But I have something called the Stream Deck right here, which has buttons and stuff. Again, this is not sponsored by Elgato. I bought all this stuff myself. But this lets me switch around things. But I can also do stuff like turn on my lights, and even the little small one I have. You can see like the corner of it right here. I have a smaller one that's on the actual camcorder, and then I can switch to the camcorder view. Which I'm gonna actually get rid of the camcorder and switch to using my phone at some point, because it's just so much clearer. But I can just toggle these lights on and off like that, and then I'm back to spaceship lighting. So it's actually kind of neat. But I don't use the overhead lights because overhead lighting is not very flattering. So it'll shine down and create shadows under your eyes, so you look more tired. And trust me, I'm tired. But that's the lighting I use. They're called Elgato key lights. They're about, I want to say $130, $150, something like that. But it's the Wi-Fi element of it that I really love. You can actually see it right here. There's the camera. Hi, camera. And then there's the Elgato that is facing me right now. And like I can just boop, turn it off. Boop, turn it on, and all of a sudden we're all blinded. Also, like, I don't have enough Baby Yodas. Thank you so much for listening through all of that with the Q&A. And again, please take a look down below at our sponsors, Ana Luisa. Again, there's a special link there with a 10% discount code for these lovely pieces of jewelry that you can see on their website. I encourage you to take a look and see all the lovely things that they have to offer. Reasonable pricing and worldwide shipping, very fast. So thank you very much to them and for you guys, and I'll see you soon.